YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Today, what we're going to be learning how to do is a wood texture, a dragon, and water textures. I'm essentially going to show you how to make a sculpture like this baby here. I put crystals in the bottom to make it really look pretty. Except, what it's really going to look like is this. Oh, crap. That one right there. I made that one a while ago, but it's a dragon in water on a log. And, that's a dolphin, too. Wait, can you see Dolphinus? Dolphinius. I name all my sculptures. Most of them are named Fred, though. I usually do this thing where I name all the sculpture the first name I heard, and my instructor would constantly say Fred, so I have like 50 turtles named Fred now. Okay, so what you're going to want to start with is, especially, you're going to want to know what kind of clay you're working with. That's probably one of the most important things to know. I have this one sculpture that I started working on. It is porcelain. I didn't mean to work on porcelain. Porcelain's a total bitch to work with. That's saying it lightly. It's unforgiving. It's extremely unforgiving, and it's like a 30-pound sculpture too. So I'm kind of screwed because of that. Let's see. What you want to start with here is you want to start with a strong base. Make sure you have a good table that can take, lots of beating. Oh, shoot, the camera. Take your clay, like this. If you haven't pugged it, you're probably going to want to pug it. And then, because I don't have a wire tool, I got this. But I don't suggest using a machete to cut your clay, unless you're insane. That's the safest way I can do this. Like this. Yep. Machete, clay cut. Don't do this at home. I'm serious. Don't. And if you get injured doing this at home, don't try and sue me, because I'll counter-sue. Okay. I'm going to do a small one today, because don't really got much time. But, here we go. I live in a basement apartment, so I can, like, drop the clay on the floor and stuff like that. Without it shaking the whole, building. Alright. What you want to do is, crap. Whatever, who screw it. Oh, God. I'm gonna have to stabilize this camera. Okay. What I like to do, and I'm not gonna do it this time, is I like to take the clay, pick it up, and smash it into the ground. This compresses the clay, and if you're working with something like porcelain, you want it to be really... Ooh, my bagel's ready! What you're going to do is you're going to make a bagel first. Actually, don't do that. You're going to want to flatten it. You're asking, why am I not using a circular base? It's because full circles are rare in nature. Times I can think of a full circle, just in nature, just randomly happening. Some cellular structures, but if you have cerebral spinal fluid, and you put it into like a petri dish or something, it expands out in a perfect circle. I think it only does that if there's water. It's something like that. It's pretty cool though. Oh shit. I forget. There we go. Stupid camera. I'm gonna have to learn how to edit videos. I just realized that. But yeah, keep on rolling it, roll it, and what also you're doing is, because clay particles are small enough to float on air, I learned that from my ceramics professor, who's the best guy ever. I just want to say, Dr. Fetter, if you're... Shit, I just doxed him. Nobody's gonna be able to find out who he is. There's tons of Dr. Fetters. If you're listening to this, thank you for everything. I really do appreciate it. So, gonna compress the clay like this. Clay particles are minuscule, so the more you compress it, the better, basically. One thing that I do want to show you guys is when you pool clay, it kind of leaves these ridges. So every time you pull it, it actually makes the structure weaker. Like this. See? That's from those wrinkles are just from pulling it. So you're going to want to be really careful like that. When you roll it like this, even though you're rolling it and compressing it a little bit, you're still pulling it. So that can actually weaken the structure and that can cause issues over time. But when you roll it like this, you're compressing the clay and making it stronger. In my opinion, especially do this with porcelain, because porcelain, you know, I think it tends to break easier. Also, the biggest pain in the ass in porcelain is it has memory, so when your sculpture's drying, it's going to start, like, verting a little bit. It's really weird. I'll show a video about that later. I don't have a cutting tool with me, so I think I'll just use this. Anyway, back to the thing about perfect circles in nature. A lot of my sculptures, what I like to do is I put borders on them. Also, like, the shape of the sculpture, it's not always perfect. In some instances, a circle does look good. In some other instances, if you want to make it look like a more natural base as part of the surroundings, no circles. Oh, this is my opinion. So yeah, just cut out a border like this. Oh, and just do anything you want. I usually have a bucket for the clay on the side, and for bagels too. I probably have like several sculptures worth of clay in my stomach by now. Oh. Alright. Now you're going to do the rock boundary a little bit. You're really going to want to slip and score. I suggest that. But I'm not going to do that because it's just a tutorial piece and I don't really care about tutorial pieces. I might sell this. Actually, I'm probably not going to sell this. I'm probably just going to like keep this in my apartment. Maybe use it for batting practice or some shit like that. Another thing I like to do is if you're too lazy to slip and score, is you just wet it a little bit. Sometimes it works. Some people don't slip and score at all, which I don't get. Oh, yes. A lot of people, when they use slip, in my opinion, they make it way too wet. I actually don't like wet slip. It can work really well. What I like to do is actually grind up, you get bone-dry clay, and you grind it up to perfectly fine dust, and then you can get like the perfect slip by doing that. It's not too clumpy, it's not, you know, it's consistent. And you grind it up and then you wet it a little bit. Panera Bread is great bagels, the same. Oh, huh? And no, this is not a real tattoo, this is eyeliner. I do want to use it every day. No. Oh. I like to reuse the clay. It's not always a good idea. But that's what I'm going to do on this video. Yeah, just squish it on there, and one of the things I like to do, especially if you want to make it look like rock, you think about how rocks are made. Rocks originally are just, you know, molten magma, or rocks are rocks, but how they're shaped, you want to think about why they're shaped the way they're shaped. They're shaped the way they're shaped because of outside forces breaking them down. Usually outside forces that come from up to down. Lots of times water, other rocks, tectonic stuff. So what I like to do with the porcelain, actually most clays, is I like to wait till it dries. And then what I do is I take a tool, usually a tool like this. Then when it dries, I scrape it downwards in different patterns a lot. Use your own discretion. And it actually looks really like a beautiful rock texture because the way it breaks. It just breaks like a natural rock does. Because clay's like, you know, rock, sort of. It's called stoneware for a reason. I also heard it's edible. Don't take me seriously when I say that. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I've seen people do such incredibly stupid things that I really don't know what to think anymore. That's the part of the bagel I touched. Okay. So I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different for the sculpture. What it's going to be essentially is just going to be like a large rock thing that's like a pool. But I put a piece of clay under this here, so it's empty underneath, so the sculpture's not too light. And it's going to be going upwards like this. We're still going to do the waves, but it's going to be crashing up against this rock here. And I might do a wood texture too. Actually, rocks. Plural. Which is actually going to be a lot of fun. Then I can show you guys some real cool stuff. Okay, now for water. So, what you're going to want to do with the water texture, is you're going to have a lot of clay, but water textures are a bitch to do. More like a bitch and a half. Actually, no, it's like 1 bitch times 10 to the 23rd power. Excuse my language. I'm talking about dogs, by the way. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, here we go. Just a lot of clay. And you're just literally just gonna wet it and throw it on. Or you could just make the base like that if I had actually pre-planned it a little bit better. But yeah, think of how you want it. I like to do this. My thumb, push it up a little bit, because that's how water is. You know, usually it's going in one direction, and when it's not, there's a lot of different forces acting on it. Water is a weird thing. Oh, it's fun to do. Personally, I think it's easier to draw than it is to sculpt. Most people don't sculpt water. But I do, because I'm an asshole. I'm just joking. I sculpt water because I like sculpting water. And I'm debating whether or not to show the technique for this, because I don't want to show everybody my secrets. Oh, God. Actually, come to think of it, if I showed you, you probably wouldn't be able to do it in the first place, so why not? Okay, what I like to do is, I figured this out because water is very chaotic. But I figured you'd want to take something that has a chaotic nature, a chaotic pattern to it, to make something else that's also chaotic. What else has a chaotic pattern to it is actually a broken piece of wood. Break it off at a weird angle or something like that, and... Wait, no, bad. And... New. You got a good water texture tool. Scoop. Scoop it up, just like you scoop someone's eye out when you're doing a certain kung fu technique. What I do also on the top of the wave is I roll it. And waves can be really obnoxious to make. It's hard to make them look cool sometimes. Sometimes if you get your clay down right, it's not that hard. But yeah, scoop up. Just keep on scooping. You got your waves. I'm actually surprised I'm the only one who actually does this. I am, basically. And then you got another one of these tools. You know, if you want to make them a little more thick, I guess. I actually don't like this tool very much. A lot of people use this, but it's too... I don't know, there's just something wrong with it. It's too much. This is more subtle. It also works better, and you have more variation, which is great when you're doing waves, because water in itself comes in so many different forms, especially something as chaotic as a wave. Usually when I do wave sculptures, I do variations on wave sculptures. I don't know if you guys can see how well this is actually working, but it's working pretty well. Oh, yeah, and then you want to add clay on. It's best to kind of add it first. You know, just like that. If you have the clay on beforehand. I'm going to do a podcast video, too. That's just going to be artwork while doing a podcast. That might be kind of fun. I'm going to have somebody who's playing as a character from a TV show, so that's going to be something to, you know, have fun with. We might animate it a little bit. Let's see. The other thing I want to talk about is the danger of penguins, and how they're actually trying to, they're waging psychological warfare on us. The penguins were created by an alien species called the Greys, and the Greys, they reproduce every 2,000 or so years. So they can't really conquer the Earth because there's not that many of them. And it's hard for them to get resources. So what they did is they genetically engineered birds, this is about 2,000 years ago, to become penguins. And what penguins do is their bodies naturally produce machineries that produce these things called Zelpha waves that bring out the most aggressive and tribalistic parts of human nature. Psh. So that's why we must destroy the penguins. When you look at a penguin, it emits this field that stops your vision from capturing what they actually are. So, yeah, that's penguins for you. They're crazy, evil monsters. Just spread the word. Penguins are evil. Yeah. Oh, that's also why they're flightless. They lost their ability to fly, and they're bloated too, so they waddle around a lot. But yeah, here you go. I don't think the video captured it very well, but these waves actually don't look bad. It's just a problem with camera. Ugh. Like, the camera doesn't make it look very well, but it actually looks pretty good here. Yeah, the thing with cameras, if you think about it, is that cameras, a lot of them, unless it's a 3D camera, capture reality in 2 dimensions. So it's only from one perspective. So it doesn't... That's why a lot of people who look really good in real life don't look good in pictures. Or sometimes you get the other thing around, especially in dating sites, where people always, you know... I find that the people you want to be with are the ones who don't spend hours and hours and hours and... What the frick? I accidentally stepped on my keyboard. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I was making a very judgmental comment on people who have really good pictures because they spend hours and hours putting time into how good their pictures look. Or filters. I think we live in a really sad society, personally, where image seems to matter more than anything else. But I think, personally, we have the opportunity to be happier than we've ever been. But people squander their happiness on trying to be better than their peers. And be outwardly better. Look better. You know, that kind of thing. Not actually be better people. People tend to ruin, like, the potential for happiness. that we have. It's oddly a controversial opinion, but people disagree. I mean, from my standpoint, this is the best time I could live in. I wouldn't be alive without the kind of medical technology we have today. I gotta say. So I'm happy. But yeah, I just wish other people could just be nicer in general and not so negative. Somebody actually quit on my job. Somebody quit their job without even telling anybody and started causing all these issues because they just stopped showing up, which is never a good thing. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can see it very well. These actually look like good waves. I'll probably take a close-up with better lighting later. Yeah, I gotta fix the rock part in the back. Yeah, I might actually keep the sculpture. Or I might finish it and chop it in half with a machete on video. Or blow it up. I'm just joking. Or maybe it'll just go kablooey in the kiln, like a lot of things do. Actually, not maybe my sculpture would blow up anymore. I haven't had a sculpture blow up. No. I don't think I've ever had a sculpture break in the kiln. One thing I did have happen, and this is something I'm still pissed about, the sculpture I made. I've had sculptures melt because I put a medium fire clay piece in a high fire firing. One of my pieces melted and I broke down crying. Because you do that when your sculpture melts because you're stupid. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. This is a big thing. When you do sculptures in classes, do everybody a favor and make sure your piece does have any air bubbles in it. Because I've had on more than a few occasions all of a piece and it'll break because the person's sculpture next to it exploded. And the other thing about that is that when you have a sculpture go kablooey in a kiln, it's not just the sculptures you gotta work at. Sometimes pieces of people's sculptures end up embedded in the walls of the kiln. And it's really difficult to get them out. So what I'm going to do here is something that I like to do, because it's kind of interesting. I call it breaking the 4.5 wall, because I'm edgy and I like, numbers that aren't whole numbers or whatever they're called. Real numbers? I forget. But, what was his name? Oh yeah, the dragon here is actually not going to be part of this. It's going to be climbing around the sculpture and going through the waves. So, in a sense, it's not connected to the piece itself. It's like it's an extra thing. I don't think I've done this before. Actually, I just came up with this idea now. Yeah. Let's talk about penguins now. I'm joking about the penguin thing. I'm not actually crazy. Maybe I should rephrase that. I'm joking about the penguin thing. I'm not crazy in that way. I'm actually not crazy in general. I'm just joking around. Boredom does things to you. I'm tired. I'm making the tail fin of the dragon. I might finish the sculpture another day. I think it came out actually pretty well. And I'm a little too tired to actually put any work into it. So I might finish it another day, or I might finish it today. Actually, no, I think a normal tail would look better. I usually don't do normal tails. Nothing at the end of your tail. You got no tail. You got no tail. Oh, shoot. Messed it up. Well, this lusty Argonian maid is... I hope I don't get copyrighted for that reference. Alright. If you have a piece like this, you want it to be longer, stroke it. Stroke it a lot. Oh my god, I just realized that's kind of lewd. I didn't mean to. Lewdness is not appreciated. Not in the realm of artwork. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Isn't that song a drug reference? Okay, that might work. And then I could do scales too. But yeah, he's diving into the waves. So I gotta make sure that people know there's a variation in the texture where he goes back into the waves. That might just be it for this video. Like and subscribe. Actually, yeah, I think that's it for today. I have to go to bed soon. If I don't go to bed, I'm gonna go crazy. It's 8 a.m. I haven't slept all night because I work night shift. But maybe I'll wait for like a few more minutes and just chat with you guys and chat and talk to a camera that doesn't talk back and feel like I'm going crazy. Let's see. What is there to talk about? Yes. Guys, like and subscribe my videos, please. I need subscribers. I need money. Let's see. Another thing. This is how I'm gonna exit videos. This is the outro. And 3, 2, 1.